This was the most beautiful and the most difficult hike of my life. We hiked 10 miles from one guest house to another with all of our stuff on our backs. Let me explain. So I stayed at a hostel in Albania, and they planned a whole 2-night experience up in the mountains of Shkodër. We left at 6:45 to take a 2-hour bus, which I may have had to ask to pull over, then a 3-hour ferry, which was a long time, but I was just thankful to be outside because I needed some fresh air after that bus. Some people used the 3 hours as tanning time, and it was just everyone from the hostel on our boat, so it was a super fun, young crowd. The only thing that did suck and made me very sad was all this trash floating in the water. I was sitting there wishing I had a net or I could dangle overboard to get some of it out. But then we took one more bus to end up at this beautiful guest house in Valbona. It was right on a river and had the most insane mountain views. I was just in awe the whole time. We got to play in the river for hours, meet other backpackers from the hostel, have a big family dinner, and then go to bed pretty early because we had the hike the next day. We had the option to leave at 5:45 or 7 in the morning, and I chose the 5:45 option just to try to avoid the heat as much as possible because it was about 95 degrees here every day. We took a little van to the mountain, which was a bit packed. 2 phones were forgotten at the guest house, but we made it to the trail and began the hike. I wasn't really mentally prepared for how steep this was going to be. I didn't really do any research before. I kind of wanted to just be surprised. I probably should have stretched a bit, and clearly I haven't hit calves enough because I was in so much pain. I kid you not, this just goes straight up for a good hour. There's no leveling out or anything, and you just march up and up for an hour straight. Thank goodness there's a little coffee and water part in the middle so you can take a breather, get some water, sit down. Then you continue up and you make it to the peak in around an hour from starting. I didn't know this until now, but the hike follows an ancient mule track, which is pretty cool. Walking on history over here. Then you make your way down for a good, I want to say 4 hours and walk to your guest house through town. Overall, the hike took us around 6 hours with rests, and it's around 10 miles long. Super glad we did the earlier option because I was still melting. What's wild is that I looked up the hike online after, and they don't even consider it difficult. Albanians are just built different, I guess. But we met lots of kind people on the hike, and I'm so glad we did it. It was super rewarding making it to the top. Then when we arrived in Theth, I took a much needed dip in the river, which is a true cold plunge. It's literally so cold, but it feels really good on your legs after the hike. We hung out, had a delicious family-style dinner, played some Uno, and watched the Euro finals of Spain versus England. Somehow I slept through the open window with fireworks going off and everyone celebrating, so that just shows how much the hike killed me. Save this for your trip to Albania and make sure you stay at the Wanderers Hostel in Shkodër because they plan and book it all for you and will store any bags you don't want to lug with you. Although it was not an easy hike, in my opinion, it was so worth it and you need to add it to your bucket list.